those crazy defensive opportunities, or at least defensive opportunities that the other team turn into offense, as they're going to play a very stingy team in Finland tomorrow. This was a great effort. This was a fun game to watch.
Remarkable when you consider that tomorrow will be 6 games in 8 days, and they will only have overnight to recover to go back at it again tomorrow. For Russia, it will be Canada. For the United States, it will be Finland. That'll be fun, too. We'll have interviews and be back here in Torino after this. Brian Giunta and Scott Gomez. Team USA makes a change in that regard. Darian Hatcher and Jordan Leopold, the two that John mentioned, start the game on defense.
And Rick DiPietro, the goaltender, ices the puck, trying to move the puck out of the zone and went off the glass and all the way down, automatic icing. Immediately, Team USA changes their forward line. Interesting to watch that. Teemu Selanne had his knee operated on during the lockouts of last winter, not this winter, last winter, and that has rekindled his career. He took the whole time to get his knee rehabilitated, and he has been flat out awesome. They're back to calling him the Finnish Flash in Finland, and they're saying that Selanne mania is alive and well. That's how well he has played in this tournament. An awesome player when he can play at the top level.
Scoring champion in Nagano in 1998 with 4 goals and 6 assists in just 5 games played. And he is out there on right wing, uniform number 8. Taking it as Leopold, bank back off. Koivu has it through Lehtinen. Turned back over to Team USA and rifled back out by Darian Hatcher. Tapped on by Teppo Numminen. Dropping back now, Mike Modano, who's out there with Eric Cole on one wing, and on the opposite wing, Brian Ralston. Ahead now, gaining the zone was Modano, but the puck left behind. A delayed offside is wiped. It's shuffled on back now for control by Hatcher. Hawked there by Selanne, who lost his stick, and it's flipped off Eric Cole and taken back by Petteri Numminen. Lob back in by Sami Salo. Played along by Chris Chelios. Took a hit. Didn't bother him last night. Didn't bother him this time. Centering pass and a good shot on goal is stopped by DiPietro. It came from Jussi Jokinen. Chelios flips further. More trouble with the Finnish forecheck. Crossover backhander in front, and that one is held by DiPietro, as stepping in front of him was Ville Peltonen.
Chris Chelios needs a whistle. Now he's talking to Dvorsky, the referee. I think he got nailed right in the kisser at the start of his shift in the corner. Then he had trouble finding the puck, and a big save goes to DiPietro. The first save that's a big, huge one goes to the U.S. goaltender as Jokinen was stopped. The Finns look good early. U.S. looks just a little bit nervous. See there, another pass that didn't work.
They had the Gomez, Giunta, and Tkachuk line out again. Keith Tkachuk deflected that one back down. Brian Ralston had played on that line last night in the game against Russia. Tkachuk still without a point in the tournament so far, trying to change that as he picks this up. Fed one in front, and that ricocheted back out, and so Matthew Schneider will go back along with Brian Rafalski. Normally, Schneider's defense partner is Chris Chelios, but he is at the bench now, and it could be the result of that hit that John was talking about. Chelios took one tremendous hit last night from Alexander Ovechkin in the game against Russia. Remarkably was unfazed by it and made a sparkling defensive play at the front of the net. That was in the last of the preliminary games. Russia won that 5-4. Meanwhile, again, Team USA trying to work something on the attack, but it's scaled back off for a play to be made out by Jarkko Ruutu. Hands it on a cross, and it is Mikko Koivu setting it up for Numminen, and a blast, and then barreling into Rick DiPietro was the guy that hit Jaromir Jagr. Jarkko Ruutu, delayed penalty call is on, and now it will be touched.
Ruutu has 25 penalty minutes. He got them all in the Jagr hit. This time he went into DiPietro, and he's been given a penalty. He's the most disliked player in the tournament by the Czech fans. Every time he touches the puck here, the Czech fans that are here waiting for the next game are booing him. Over on the right side, DiPietro gets run over by Ruutu, who looked to me to make no attempt to stop before he hit the goaltender. He's one of the more disliked players in the entire NHL because of the way he talks and shows disrespect to opposition players. Now for Team USA, the way to make Ruutu pay is to put the puck in the net. Simply put the puck in the net, and if you get the lead on the Finns, you might make them change their style of play.
Second best power play in the tournament. Of the 13 goals the U.S. has scored, 7 have been on the power play. Nearly 25% for them. A big night, collecting 3 power play goals against Russia last night. A misfire there by Schneider, brought back on by Lehtinen. Delayed offside is wiped as Team USA regroups. Modano, Eric Cole, and Keith Tkachuk are out on the front line of this power play. Eric Cole able to gain the corner and then tried to flip one along that is broken up and cleared out again by Olli Jokinen. You may have heard some of the conversation down there. 1:20 left. Goaltender and defenseman talking so that this is thrown back in by Waite, slowed down by Niittymaki, cranked back around by Aki Berg, and it has to be settled at center by Ralston, and Ralston is dogged, taken away from him, and a backhander went just wide. Good penalty killing down there by Billy Peltonen, the Olympic veteran. Then Waite connects back on with Scott Gomez, moving up with Brian Gianna, shovels it across to him. Tried to deal it back, but the Finns saw that coming, and it's cleared again.
This is good penalty killing. The Finns look sharp, real sharp. The only thing they've done wrong is the Ruutu penalty for running into the goaltender, but Team USA, to me, not sharp early here. They're either nervous or the fuel tank is down a little bit from the game against Russia last night.
They want to connect with Waite, but that doesn't work. Lifted back along and knifed down off of Mikko Kapanen's try, and so going back for it now is John Michael Lyles to the last 22 of the power play. Moving in is Gomez. Wants to get his own pass, darting on by Salo, given up around behind. Oh, and unable to walk to the front was Mike Knuble. And again, it is sailed all the way back down. 10 left on the kill. Antti Laaksonen of the Colorado Avalanche, 24 in white. The first man that is met there is Lyles. Drives it back in, hopped away from Niittymaki, played along now to Chris Drury. Drury to the outside, got it back to Leopold. Little trouble there, got it to Drury. Walks it on, hands it in deep, and a shot by Conroy. Turned aside by Niittymaki. One shot for Team USA on that power play, as it is fed right back across now for Drury. Through the legs yank, fails for Conroy. And finally, it's Ruutu sailing it back across. Now here comes Solani, watched by Darian Hatcher.
There's 2 shifts for Solani, and both times it's been Hatcher and Leopold.
Koivu fed one that's deflected by Leopold into the glove of DiPietro.
DiPietro knocked the puck off his blocker and caught it with his catching glove. Nice little play. Now, you've got to avoid as best you can at hitting the goaltender, and Ruutu deliberately, you can see that replay shows it beautifully. He made no attempt whatsoever to stop running the goaltender. That's one of the few times I've seen anybody on Finland show a lack of discipline. And a guy like Ruutu, if he plays like that, he could cost his team the tournament by playing that stupid.
Here's Salo, a shot and a bullet into the paraphernalia of DiPietro. Well, he is the lone exception, because you realize you have Billy Nieminen, who's a pest, who hasn't been penalized at all in the tournament.
That's right. I think it's selfish when you do things like that. When your team is playing as well as they are, under a great coaching staff, and you go out and do something like that, that is a selfish thing to do when your team has played so absolutely 100% discipline.
Second best penalty kill in the tournament. Through the 5-game preliminaries, they have the very best power play. It's not been given a chance to work, and Team USA knows it doesn't want to do that. Sami Salo sends it on across for the carry back out by Petteri Nummelin. It is the big line out there now as it's laid back on by Solani, and it's shot. It's saved by DiPietro, the stick out of his hands, but it's back in those hands as it's brought on now by Leopold. Laid ahead for Eric Cole. Big winger from Carolina dropped it back to Ralston, but it was over the line and so offside.
Well, Ruutu's already in the middle of things here. Plays for the Vancouver Canucks of the NHL. That was a hard hit. He was called for charging. It wasn't a dirty hit. Yager had bent over. He got thrown out of the game. Yager was bent over. There's a good hit against Team Canada's Redden. There he goes. That's what he does mostly. Yeah, that's what drives him nuts. That's what NHL players really get driven crazy by him, because of his lack of respect for other players.
Hand pass stops things here. 5 shots to 1 Finland.
Yeah, Finland's look sharp here. They've also been shorthanded for 2 minutes. I think that when you watch the first few minutes of this game, we're almost 6 minutes in. It's a case where Finland's playing their system. They're moving the puck. Team USA looks nervous, Pierre.
They do look nervous, John, but you're talking about Jarkko Ruutu. How about his brother Tuomo Ruutu, who plays for the Chicago Blackhawks? What a tremendous player. He can't be here because of a shoulder problem, and there's actually another brother who is drafted by the Ottawa Senators. So while Jarkko Ruutu sometimes has the potential to be the class clown, his other brothers are extremely talented.
Yeah, the one playing in Chicago you talked about has been injured for a lot of the season. He is extremely talented, really talented as a player.
Blake's shot was lost by Niittymaki. Chopped back on now, and it's Craig Conroy giving a good shoulder. And it's turned back for control by Olli Jokinen. That one outletted for the bring back ahead. It's Peltonen crossing. Peltonen with a shot. He hit the post with it. Oh, he pulled it at the last minute. A finesse move and then drove it off the post. It's cleared back to center.
Oh, great move. Peltonen's had 2 great scoring chances here in the first period.
Guided back in again by Kapanen. Packed back up the wing, Gianto. Walled there, but the follow-through came from Chelios. It skipped back down. There'll be no icing.
Yeah, Aki Berg tried to step aside the puck to make it look like icing. The linesman didn't go for it. It hasn't been a physical first period. Only one decent hit that may be won by Ruutu on the goaltender.
Played back ahead to Tkachuk. Here's Tkachuk, a shot blocked away by Niittymaki. Strong wrist shot by Keith Tkachuk. Picked up now and lobbed back ahead by Aki Berg from the Toronto Maple Leafs. But now it's guided on the backhand by Scott Gomez.
Interesting how Team USA put Tkachuk back on the Gomez line. Ralston was there last night, and I thought they had reasonable success. I think Team USA, Peter Laviolette's trying to find more balance amongst his forwards to try to get maybe one line going and then maybe 2 lines going.
Ralston with 3 goals on one line, leading Team USA along with Brian Gianta, who has 3 and he's on the other line. Sweden, a big lead in the other quarterfinal over Switzerland, 5-1 in the second.
Matthias Ohlund, the fine defenseman out of Vancouver, injured in that game.
Tucked along by Mikko Koivu. The bouncer came over to Drury, and he's able to shank it back down and get the halt to play.
A lot of talk here about Sweden not playing well in their game last night, which allowed them to play Swiss tonight. A lot of people think that they threw in the towel. There's a play where Schneider's caught up. Look at the play. Chelios is on Pelton and forced him wide. And DiPietro, I think he got a little bit of the shot, and the puck went off the goalpost. Keith Tkachuk, you mentioned this wrist shot. Niittymaki knocked a piece of the puck away. It was a high shot by Tkachuk, and it was a good one. Shots are, let me see, 5-3 in favor of the Finns.
It is Numminen moving back in for Team Finland. Solani trying to shake free there. Nice move to one-hand control behind, and then slotted it for Letnin's shot that ricocheted off Chelios, and curling on back with it is Brian Ralston.
It's Chelios and Schneider against the Solani line now. When you roll 4 lines and you have 3 pair of defense, you don't get your matchup all the time.
This is Cole, and that deflected away by Niittymaki. Team USA making some more attempts here, putting it on goal. A shot is on goal at the other end from Lettinen, and a strong save by DiPietro. Guided back in by Ralston. Another shift change of forwards and defense for Team USA.
Oh, there's a hit by Cole. That's what Team USA has to start doing a little more of. Gets themselves involved in the game.
Here is Tkachuk crossing. Oh, it's swept away, but Scott Gomez flies to it. Sent it around behind Niittymaki there. Set it up for Tony Ludman of the Buffalo Sabres. Outlets it ahead. That ricocheted off Gianta. Whacked on up the wing now and brought on by Jussi Jokinen for a combination in front that's on goal. Oh, some good passing and shooting combinations by Team Finland there. Tumbling down to the ice was Olli Jokinen. To the outside, it's fed. Out in front, a shot. Oh, and it trickled over the line and in. Goal by Billy Peltonen.
Again, Peltonen, 3 scoring chances, finally gets one. And this line here has been more dangerous than the Koivu line in the first period. Shots are 8-3, and DiPietro got most of the puck, but it barely rolled over the goal line. Jokinen was strong on the puck. Peltonen, that's Jokinen down low. Puck in behind the net. Peltonen, beautiful. He took the pass off his skate blade to his stick. And the Finns look really sharp here in the first period. We're 9:33 in, and they're making a lot of the right plays, Pierre.
They certainly are. Sami Salo just did a great job jumping into the cycle there, John, and create that opportunity. He beat Gomez down the wall. But the Americans, John, you made a great point earlier. The Americans look a little bit nervous, but they also look like they don't have a lot left in the emotional and athletic gas tank. They just look a little bit flat right now.
Yeah, Team USA met this morning, since it's a 5 o'clock game, local here in Italy. They met this morning, had a meeting, and then did not meet prior to the game at their locker room. They didn't want to give the players more to think about, just wanted them to get ready if possible here. And that Russian game last night, that the U.S. outplayed Russia in by a significant margin, and even the Russian coach said that. But it may have taken something, or maybe even too much, out of the team. We'll see. It's early. Let's see if they can find their game. It's 9:52 into the first period.
Yet going into that game, what we felt Team USA needed to give them some confidence for this one today was some offense, and they generated. Peter Laviolette told us before the game they got 4 goals. They could have had 4 more, and at least they built some confidence. They've shaken up the lines to try and get scoring from 2 lines. The trouble is Finland can come at you with 4, and 3 of them can score.
Yeah, they'll rotate their lines without question. That's why you may not see Hatcher and Leopold against that line every single time. If you're rotating 3 pairs of defense and the other team's rotating 4 lines, it's hard to get that pure matchup. Team USA's got to find their game here. They have to get involved emotionally, as Pierre said, take the body, do something to shake the nervousness, and find your legs.
Well, there was a hit across the way from Phil Guerin. Meanwhile, bringing it back in, Billy Peltonen from the New York Rangers. Centered one in front, it went off a skate, dug out by Hatcher. Big defenseman from the Philadelphia Flyers rifles one that goes back down, and there'll be an icing coming from that.
Good effort by another finish line. Kapanen with Hagman and Nieminen as they went to the net. Billy Guerin tried to get himself into the game by moving across and taking the body. As Hatcher and Guerin. Oh, Hagman was set up by Hatcher, and Guerin tried to nail him. Guerin's wife, 4 children, parents, father-in-law, and even the nanny are here. And you know what? This is a good idea. Peter Laviolette recognizes that their team doesn't have much going for them right now, and why not call a timeout? You can lose the game in the first period against the Finns as easily as you can lose it in the third period. So use it now and find your game. And they are listening. Look at these players. Look at Peter Laviolette. Look at them. They're just listening, all ears.
Let's see if we can hear a little too. So he wants them to move it back down the other way. Peter Laviolette talking to his team. Pierre?
This is a great move by Peter Laviolette. He's clearly engaged in the game. One of the things you're trying to do, you're not giving your players the news, you're giving them the weather. That means you get a little bit volatile and you start to challenge them. You tell them there's no second opportunity. You have to have a Game 7 mentality. Look at the rosy cheeks on Peter Laviolette. That's an emotional guy. Maybe that can spark the team. Smart timeout, John.
Team USA reflecting what you guys have talked about in terms of fatigue and emotion lacking. Have iced the puck 5 times, but this time they're able to play it in just as he was directing with his arm motions there. Get it going the other way. Wait closed off though by Mikko Koivu, and a little pass. Oh, and what a hit by Chris Chelios. My goodness. Across the way, battling for it, and then shoving a little bit too is Mike Knuble, as Team USA has become more spirited.
And we've got penalties coming up to players on both teams as Knubel's going to go, as is Koivu, the younger brother of Saku Koivu. A big kid, plays in Minnesota, so they will be at 2 minutes apiece. Watch Chelios move in. He still has the ability to turn a game around, and he does stuff like that. He can turn a game around. I've seen him do it this season with the Detroit Red Wings. And let's see if the U.S. club can sustain. Now there's Coach Westerlund, Eric Westerlund, back in 92-93. He moved to Calgary, spent 3 months with the Hockey Canada group, along with Tom Rennie, the Rangers coach, and with the Calgary Flames of the NHL, to learn how to get his players in Finland to play with not only a skill game, but a grit game. And that grit has shown up here, hasn't it? We have a penalty upcoming to Finland.
Eric Cole got closed off on the boards, and so it is a restraining foul. The call is interference, and so it'll be a 4-against-3 power play.
This will be Saku Koivu getting the penalty. He moves into Cole, and he kept, to me, that's a continuation of the play. But he really, and Cole, give Cole full marks for the way he kept his legs going to draw the power play. Pierre.
We'll wait on Pierre. Tkachuk and Modano will work up front. Matthew Schneider will be one of the point men once they get it set up. Brian Rafalski will be the other. And they'll have to start from their own end when one clinked off the glass. Yanked on around. It'll be Mikko Kapanen working up front as part of the triangle. And in back, the defense will be Jarkko Ruutu for now, as well as Ludman. I beg your pardon, Numminen as well as Ludman. Now to the outside, Team USA on this power play. They get Mike Modano with it. Down to Rafalski. Save made by Niittymaki. Rafalski shoveled it across. Picked up and pitchforked back out again by Ludman.
Niittymaki is really good down low. That was an example of it. Team USA has to get the puck up on him, and that is the scouting report. The players have been told that.
Fighting his way ahead is Sammy Salo. Salo a blast. Score! Short-handed goal by Salo.
Well, he won a battle for the puck. He has one of the best shots in the world of hockey anywhere. Plays for the Vancouver Canucks. And did he rip it up top? The Team USA group had a shot on goal by Rafalski that Niittymaki made a good save on. Now, as you see here, Salo's got the battle with Rafalski, and he'll win it and turn his body and just rip the shot. Now, whether it went off Schneider's stick, I don't know. But I can tell you this, he ripped it right over the shoulder of DiPietro, and it's 2-0 with a shorthanded goal, Pierre.
I'm not a big fan of excuse making, but let's remember Brian Rafalski's playing with a severely damaged rib, and right there, that's a battle he usually would not lose. He's such a great skater, and he's so strong. Mike Emmerich, you see him all the time. He lost that battle, and it looked to me like he just couldn't engage in the battle because of that injury to the rib.
Well, Pierre, we're not sure how much he's even going to play tonight. He was there for the power play. He injured a leg last night blocking a shot on top of the rib, and never finished the game last night against Team Russia, but he's there to try to help the power play. He had a real good shot on goal, and then he lost the battle to Salo for the shorthanded play.
Power play back on. Chelios shovels it across. Brian Ralston has it there. Then Chelios. Ralston and Chelios change positions. Ralston has 3 goals in the tournament, all on power play shots. And he has it now. Gives over to Chelios. Chelios walked it on and shot one that ricocheted off a pair of Finnish players. First Numminen, then Ludman. Into the back. Oh, and Ralston lost it off his stick back to center again. Both teams will get a man back in 20 seconds. Darting back in is Eric Cole, held up enough by Ludman, but he's able to force it on to Gianta, then off Cole. Nicely pulled away by the veteran Teppo Numminen and cleared back down.
Very strong defense for Finland. They've got players that are playing maybe the best hockey that a lot of them have played in their entire careers, and they're all playing well at the right time, especially for Finland in the Olympics.
Mike Knuble brings it back. Then dealt off to Waite. Picked up by Gomez. Back to Waite again. Feeds it to the back. Schneider and drive. Score!
Well, that gets Team USA back into the game. The power play had just expired. Koivu was going to step out of the box. And you see Doug Waite and Gomez get together, and it's the Waite pass. Sets up the high shot. And it deflects in front. I didn't realize that. Knuble will get credit for being there. If you're going to beat Niittymaki, the thought is go high. And this is a high shot by Schneider because of the sliding defender. The puck ricocheted off the arm of Knuble, and it goes past the goaltender, Niittymaki. Knuble and Niittymaki play for the same team, the Philadelphia Flyers, and Team USA on the board.
They take the time to examine every goal. They also give us some time so that we can show you replays. Paul Dvorsky, the referee in this game. Steve Miller from Canada and the NHL, one of the linesmen, sustained a 1-stitch gash last night when a stick clipped him up high. None the worse for wear today. Milan Mašek of Slovakia is the other linesman as Niittymaki holds the puck.
So far, Schneider's been given credit for the goal, assisted by Doug Waite and Scott Gomez. At 13-14 of the first period, a very important goal for Team USA. They'd given up a shorthanded goal to go down by 2, but got one back.
This is Knuble. 6:30 to go in the first period as of right now. 2 goals by Finland in a little over a minute and a half. Peltonen and Salo. Salo's was a long blast, and that was a shorthanded goal. Matthew Schneider from Waite and Gomez to cut the lead in half. Hatcher flipped one in, overskated by a couple, played back out again, and walked on by Saku Koivu. Crosses now, couldn't get it to Solani. Bounced back off of Hatcher, gathered in and nudged on by Drury. Knuble moves to play. Guided around behind, and Petteri Nummelin plays on defense for Finland. Long toss is taken by Olli Jokinen. Jokinen drops. Peltonen, a little shuffle pass. It's poked away from Salo. Might be a break for Team USA. Up the wing it comes. Guerin there, getting a piece of it with his glove, was Niittymaki. Then around behind, twisted once more, looking to feed one as Guerin. It's bouncing around, and hanging on is Niittymaki.
Well, the defense of Team USA did a great job stopping a rush there by Rafalski, and then he battled to move the puck out of the zone. And watch this pass, a backhander by Ralston, go around the goaltender, and there's the catching glove. Oh, Guerin made a great play, and so did Niittymaki, who was beaten, it appeared, on the play as Guerin tried to go around him, but the catching glove just got a piece of the puck, and Team USA close to tying it up.
Craig Conroy will have to take the faceoff for the United States. Brett Hedican back on defense, and having returned now to the USA defense, it's Brian Rafalski. And icing is called. Finland's shutout streak ended 154 minutes and 57 seconds. At that point, who counts a second? But under 155 minutes of playing time. Yeah, that's over 2.5 games.
That's a team that's playing well. Their general manager, by the way, is Mr. Hockey of Finland, Jari Kurri.
Forced along now by Rafalski. Touched around behind for Blake. Knocked away from him by Mikko Kapanen. Played back up the boards by Numminen. Guided across by Hagman and then carried on. Kimmo Timonen of the Nashville Predators dropped it back in. Hagman couldn't get there. Playing it along, not once but twice. Team USA gets it back now to Rafalski. 15-minute mark in elapsed time has just arrived. Finland scored the first two. Team USA got the next one to cut the lead in half. Ken Hitchcock, assistant coach for Team Canada, whose team lost to Finland in a shutout, said there's a difference playing against a Finnish player in the NHL and a Finnish player with his flag on his back. We're not playing against NHL players. We're playing against a bunch of flags.
Isn't that something? Peter Forsberg, how about him with the Philadelphia Flyers? He was talking about not playing and then playing more as the tournament moves along, which he is now, as an assist in their game today. He said, I want to be ready. I want to win the gold medal. Bobby Clark, the general manager of Philadelphia, said, yeah, does he want to win the Stanley Cup too? I hope so.
Scaled around for a deflection back out by Ville Peltonen. Schneider back on to Wait. Can't get it through, but moving in is Mike Knuble. Out of the University of Michigan. Played it behind, but that tapped on. Olli Jokinen saw it skip on through. Lifted back out again by Jussi Jokinen.
The U.S. team a little more physical now. It seems like they're getting themselves in the game. A lot more now than they were in the first 7-8 minutes of this period.
So you like the timeout even more now?
Oh, it worked for sure. The only negative part since the timeout was the shorthanded goal.
Brought back ahead by Tkachuk, but already in the zone was Gomez, and so offside is called.
Keith Tkachuk trying to find some offense. He said he was in good shape. Mike Kitchen, his head coach with the St. Louis Blues, playing him in the neighborhood of 20 minutes a game prior to the Olympics. He said he feels good. He says his legs are good, but he hasn't been able to find a way to get scoring going in this tournament, at least not yet.
Legs are good except for the fang marks on them from the snake bites.
Yeah. Good
He's had
point.
so many chances. He had 7 shots on goal one night. Post in there too. But sometimes it goes that way. That's why they're hoping that it'll change with him being moved up to the line with Gomez and Gianta. No icing on this as we wind down to the last 3:40 of the first period of this quarterfinal match. Lob back in by Antti Laaksonen, played by Brian Rafalski. New Jersey Devils defenseman waits. Mike Modano of the Dallas Stars brings it on. Pass back across for Brett Hedican. Carolina Hurricanes D-man fires, deflected wide by Teppo Numminen. Played along by Eric Cole. That one skipped through Modano, fired the other way, and Hedican is there. Playing it behind, but it didn't get all the way to Modano as he'd hoped. And lifted back out by Ruutu, who was smeared by Cole. It might be piling on, but probably 700 NHLers watching that hit stood up and said, yeah.
Maybe even some of them that play for Vancouver. Kidding. Just kidding.
Puck sent out of play. In the Olympics, a goaltender can be penalized for delay of game for shooting the puck out of play, but no other player can. They are changing the scoring of the goal. Conroy on a deflection on the blast from Matthew Schneider. and Doug Waite also getting an assist.
Is that Conroy in front, or was it Knuble that was in front?
Well, 22 looks like 21 perhaps to the official score.
Then I made a mistake.
No,
I thought it was.
You might be right. We have had a lot of scoring changes. And every once in a while, John, we get a number wrong.
Yes, we certainly did.
Changing the subject, Teemu Selanne to take this draw. And it's hacked on back. Teemu Selanne, number 8. Koivu got it, though, and threw it out in front. Chris Drury came up with it there. Drury flies it right back in, and after it is Knuble. Knuble chases his man off and is able to nudge it onto Drury. He's got a point man Hatcher. Drive, and that deflected wide by Knuble. Now played along by Jordan Leopold. Banked it along to Waite. Waite has Drury at the front. Another shot, and it went off a pair of skates in front and is cleared but settled down by Hatcher.
Mike, it all started with Team USA getting the puck deep and then going in and forechecking, winning the puck back, setting up a shot. They're getting back to the basics of what the Team USA's game is about. Much, much better as the periods moved along here.
A bouncer carefully trapped by DiPietro.
DiPietro really, that's a scary little moment there when the puck comes sliding in like that. 24 years of age, the youngest player on the team for Team USA out of Boston University. His parents actually honeymooned about 1 hour from here in Torino, so it's quite an emotional time for him to be able to make the Olympic team. Nobody knew who exactly was going to be the go-to goaltender, but he's earned the spot, and right now his team is down by a goal.
How much fun it must be to have your parents watching, as they did 20 years or so ago when you played your first game. Schneider, and that deflected up out of play. We have had so much help in these Olympics. NBC's research department. We've had Randy Andreichu at one place, Ben Boma in the other, keeping stats for us. A gentleman who knows 5 languages and is schooled in hockey named Dennis Gibbons, who is back in Canada helping us with information. And Bob Borgen, longtime producer of the Los Angeles Kings, a day by day has informed that Teemu Selanne on this date in 1997 became the first player in NHL history to score a goal against 24 teams in a year. But he only had 51 goals that year, because his first year in Winnipeg, he had 76.
Oh, yeah. That was his rookie year. Winnipeg Jets. Wow.
A shot by Ralston is deflected wide. Rebound popped out in front and is laid back ahead for Finland to shift back to offense again. Ahead with it now comes Salo. Dropped it off for a shot that is turned aside by DiPietro off of Olli Jokinen's stick.
4-man rush. Oh, did Jokinen get hit? Eric Cole, he's starting to really rattle some bodies. Good save there by DiPietro. Oh, there's another one.
Ralston stood up on a hit that time from Sami Salo, and waiting behind Team Finland.
Salo's had a good first period for the Finns. Number 6, a very intelligent defenseman. Puck behind the net, lots of time as he waits for his forward line to change.
DiPietro sees it bounce, protects, turned it into some trouble, but it ricocheted to Rafalski. Rafalski makes the safe play up the boards, but it's dangerous because Laaksonen able to pick it off. Flips one around in front, can't be settled down immediately, and then Mikko Koivu tossed one that's flagged down and sent out by Hedeken. Hockeyberg played it ahead, chipped on by Rafalski, trying to get there as Hedeken, punched away from him by Laaksonen, and then going back is Blake. 25 left in the period. Shots are 12-7 in favor of Team Finland. Jason Blake brings it back. Wrist shot is scooped up and held by Antero Niittymaki.
That'll force the much-wanted face-off with 18 seconds to go in the period.
And you were right. They have changed the goal to Mike Knuble. Eagle eye got it.
Oh, yeah. Just like last night. There's Cole moving in on Jokinen. Olli Jokinen for the Florida Panthers. Boy, he threw a good shoulder into him.
One back to Tkachuk. Tried to finesse by, could not. Protected by Numminen. Played out to Selanne. Laid along for the carry now by Koivu. And offside is called against Finland.
And Mike, that's offside because the U.S. club on the back check harassed the Finns. And they forced the offside. The first 10 minutes of this game, Team USA had no legs. The thinking caps weren't on. They just weren't emotionally into the game. Peter Laviolette called a timeout. And they've played much better. They've played USA hockey since, and it's a battle. And we have a penalty coming up. It may be against Keith Tkachuk. I don't know. It's just prior to the end of the period. It's a high sticking call. As Keith Tkachuk, oh, it's going to be Selanne. I think Keith Tkachuk went into him, and he took a stick right into the mouth.
High stick, 11.
Oh, it's 11. Pardon me. It's Koivu again. Keith Tkachuk moves in, and there's Koivu with the hit, and the stick is right up, I guess, underneath the chin. I know Tkachuk was really reaching around his face and mouth, so Koivu gets his second penalty of the period, and Team USA will have a power play to start the next period.
Boy, it was a change in the whole winds of this thing after the timeout. Despite the shorthanded goal, Team USA got back. They were carrying the play near the end. They are trailing at the end of the first period 2-1 for play time because of the high sticking call to Saku Koivu for Team USA. Ryan Giunta brings it ahead, gives it back across. Drive by Wade, a headhunter that sailed all the way around and back out.
You can't be accurate with a shot like that when the puck flips on you, and that's what happened to Doug Weight. DiPietro's starting to handle the puck a lot, isn't he? He's pretty good with it, but it gives coaches agita, as they say over here.
Forced into Giunta. Bouncer is set down for Gomez. Oh, and stepping in and anticipating well there was Aki Bergen. It's turned back out now for Ole Jokinen. Watched by Ralston. Pass across his cut. Matthew Schneider steered it ahead. Here's Conroy across for Tkachuk. Knocked down. Control to the corner. Lost off the stick of Gomez. To the outside Conroy. Back to Rafalski. Then on to Gomez. Then on to Keith Tkachuk again. Swatted away from him. An experienced move there by Tony Ludman. Then it's fed to the back to Schneider. Big drive. Score! Schneider! Tie game!
Mike, Ole Jokinen turned the puck over at Team USA's blue line. Up went the men in dark blue, and Ludman made a couple of great plays defensively, but the puck was kept in at the Finnish blue line, and another big-time shot to tie the game at 2. This is the U.S. on the odd man rush that Ludman broke up. Did a great job. There's Conroy on the puck. Puck to the blue line, along the boards. Team USA starting to move it a little bit, starting to move their feet, starting to win battles. Kept in here, and now it's going to be moved around nicely. The U.S. club can settle down on their Schneider's shot. Beat him up high. They've done it twice now. That's the report. He's so good, Niittymaki is down low, that you have to challenge him in other areas. Rafalski down low. Look at this pass. Tkachuk kept it alive. Good effort by the guys in dark blue. I mean, they owned the puck. Rafalski again down low. There's the pass by Conroy, and there's the big-time shot that ties it at 2.
So some NHL knowledge has been brought here overseas. Peter Laviolette, coach of the Carolina Hurricanes, and Tiro Niittymaki, goaltender for the Philadelphia Flyers.
I think you see a lot more of that all over the NHL with goaltenders. They're so good down low, so flexible. They take away the bottom of the ice. So you have to start finding the top corners. And at least 3 of the goals here of the 4 scored have been top corner goals.
Shot ricocheted wide from Darian Hatcher. Fired back off. Kept alive by Modano. Sailed around now for Jason Blake. University of North Dakota product. Nudged it around behind. Eric Cole there. Oh, and a pass chip back onto Modano. Very quickly back onto Blake again. Points it on back for Jordan Leopold. That flipped off of Blake. So the probing for Team USA this time fails. Brought back ahead now by Petteri Nummelin. Nice crossover move to shake his way past Knuble. Given on now to Saku Koivu. Kicked it around and then tried to steer it wide and drew a penalty against the United States.
In this game, Mike, the U.S. has done a nice job against the Koivu line. Koivu's been in the box twice. This time Koivu, though, at the end of a shift, finally gets out of his zone, and I think it's Doug Weight that's going to go. No, it's Hatcher. Both players had their sticks into Koivu. So this will be the first look at the Finnish power play. Now, the break here for Team USA is that the Koivu line was on the ice for a long shift, so they're at the bench resting, and Jokinen's line has to go to work and try to get something going for Team Finland.
Brett Hedican to Chris Chelios and back down. Finland 11 for 33 in the tournament, #1 overall. Petteri Nummelin brings it ahead. Jussi Jokinen is out there, and he's able to break in, and it's off the stick, and then it hopped wide. Rebound in front, and a penalty is coming up. Scramble around the front of the net, backhander. Stoppage of play.
And
a hooking call.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of the defensemen. What a great pass through the middle. Oh, was it special to Jokinen. Gorgeous pass, and then he got hooked as he broke in, and he may be asking for a penalty shot. Numelin with the pass, and you see the hook? That broke up the play as DiPietro then was able to get a stick on it. But that hook is what the Finnish player was saying. You know what? I want a penalty shot on the play. Instead, it's going to be a long minute 35, 5-on-3. And how the puck never went in, I don't know. It hit the goalpost once. It seemed like nobody knew what was going to happen. But here we go, 5-on-3.
Sent to the point, held there by Salo, given on across to Timonen. Then worked on to Solani. Timonen a drive and a save made by DiPietro. He sneaked a little glance over his shoulder.
Just wasn't quite sure if the puck ricocheted away from his body. Timonen, a real fine, smart power play guy, plays for the Nashville Predators, and Salo on the other side. He has some shot. A little delay here as Team USA changes Matthew Schneider, and that just sort of breaks up the momentum a little bit for Finland. Finland have their big guys out there now.
Teemu Solani with it. 20 Olympic goals. Solani fed one that is cut off by Craig Conroy. Shoveled back out.
Conroy and Chris Chelios break it up. Beautiful play. We're down to almost a minute left on the 5-on-3.
Gliding ahead is Timonen again. Threw it across, carried in by Koivu, dropped back now to Solani, then on to Timonen, then to the back it comes to Salo. Gives to Timonen, side of the net, Solani! It's out in the outside of the cage and held there by DiPietro.
Did you expect the shot from the high slot instead?
Yeah.
The puck was passed back to Solani, who takes a shot from a terribly bad angle. There's Solani over there, but it's a good shot because it's on net. And DiPietro barely got it with the toe or the very end of his goal pad. That's some save.
4 chances, 4 shots so far on the power play. Leopold sent that one back down, and it's punted ahead now for Timonen. Still 40 to go on the 5-on-3. Solani moves it ahead onto Koivu, twists around behind, squibbed away up the boards, and Solani there to tap it on back. Salo just walks it across there, hands it across, and it is held for the moment by Koivu, trying to bank one in front. Now tries to drive it in front, and it's Lehtinen to the outside. Salo holding, back along now it comes. Salo a drive, knocked down in front. Solani a shot, sliding across both Chelios and DiPietro. Now to the back it comes again to Timonen. To the last 8 seconds of the 5-on-3. Koivu to Salo, and that hit a skate in front. Limping around a little bit, the Team USA defender. Brought back out by Solani. First penalty is up. Salo shooting, deflected it, hopped on wide. And the net is dislodged behind DiPietro.
Well, Solani working over the official, saying, I want a penalty. He did it on purpose. If DiPietro did it on purpose, I think he almost hurt himself. Oh, penalty killing, goaltending. Team USA comes up large. Chelios, Leopold, Drury, DiPietro, all of them fantastic. Solani wants to tap in, makes the play there, and DiPietro had moved across. There's the big shot by Salo, deflected wide, and then DiPietro getting up fell backwards into the goal net. 19 seconds to go on the minor now.
From the tie-up, Olli Jokinen couldn't control. It came onto the back now. Numelin gives it across. Salo a shot. Knocked away by Darian Hatcher on defense. He works over Peltonen. Puck turned around behind, though, for a forehand shot. Score!
Shot.
Olli Jokinen has made it another goal for Finland now and broken the tie.
There couldn't have been 6 inches up there, and Jokinen from the angle put it up over top. The time was winding down. Hatcher actually lost his glove on the play. Now he's getting his glove, and here's Jokinen. He just sees the top corner, and he hits it. I think DiPietro went down expecting some kind of a pass. Hatcher ends up getting to the front just in time, but maybe set up a bit of a screen. Oh, what a shot. Underneath the crossbar, over the shoulder. And the Finns had all that power play time and were seconds away from not scoring. They get a big one by Jokinen.
25 goals in the first 57 games of this NHL season with the Florida Panthers for that man. And he has broken the tie here at 5:06 of the second period.
What a 34 assists he has, too, on top of those 25 goals. He's a free agent at the end of the season and has played really well.
This is Rafalski. Boy, Team USA was so strong at the front. Rafalski gives it back across Gomez there to Tkachuk, and the shot flew wide. They had 4 shot blocks on the power play before yielding. Here is a forehander that is grabbed and held by DiPietro. On the 5-on-3, Finland had 5 shots on goal, but it would just turned out to be 4 seconds too little.
And it took a pretty good shot up high by Jokin and read the play beautifully. DiPietro guessed on it, went down thinking something low was going to happen, and Jokinen decided why not surprise him and try hitting high. And again, Mike, I think that's 4 out of 5 goals in this game that have been underneath the crossbar on the 2 goaltenders.
One back to Ludman for Finland. Ludman, a forehander that went off the blocker of Rick DiPietro, and now it is Matthew Schneider. Noticed any finish adjustments in this period? I realize there have been shorthanded situations for both teams already.
Well, the transition game was good. That set up the breakaway and another penalty, but I don't know. I think we have to watch more Team USA and see if they keep their legs going. That was the big difference in the first period from the first half to the second half. It's all about legs moving to be able to compete.
Knuble to Drury. In the Newmanen corner. Drury in after him. But Finland lobs on. Leopold sees it come off the shelf. Played back further by Waite. Scrapped for, and it hopped away from Knuble. Mikko Koivu lays it back there, and it's sent up the wing, but that fails to get to Ruutu. Another change for Finland. Leopold ahead. That played back in by Waite. Charging back after it is Ralston, forced back along by Niittymaki. Then Timonen, deflected by Cole, regathered by Team USA. Middle stages of the game. Peltonen and Salo in the first made it 2-0. Knuble and Schneider. Knuble deflecting a Schneider blast. Forehander in front by Modano as he tried to connect with Eric Cole, and a sliding block by the defense. And then Jokinen breaking the tie moments ago as Solani moves in. Watched there by Darian Hatcher. Peels off and lobs one that is taken on now by Koivu, but then he just lost it. Very quickly it is thrown back down again by Leopold. No icing. Ralston gets there and nearly gets in the way of Niittymaki's pass. Now Salo back up the wing. Led across by Jussi Jokinen, and the combination in front fails. Jussi Jokinen able to feed to the point, and it's pitched high by Petteri Nummelen. Trying to step free, but not able to do it there. Olli Jokinen posted behind for control by John Michael Lyles. Connects back ahead with Conroy. Settled down and drilled in by Bill Guerin. Blake. Then Lyles. Shooting deflected by Guerin wide. Waiting is Hedican. But now it's outletted again. Brought on by Jussi Jokinen. Picks up Peltonen. Deflected wide by Bill Guerin and held at the side of the net by DiPietro.
Let's go back to the last goal that Finland scored. It was the Jokinen shot. Where did the puck go? Was it between the arm and the body, or was it over the shoulder? It may be between the left arm and the body. It wouldn't be in there, would it? Oh my. Just barely got through. Jokinen found the hole. 3-2 at the go-ahead goal. Pierre?
That's one of those equipment adjustment type goals, John. Remember, they shrunk the pants on a lot of these goalies, and they've also shrunk the pads. In the old days, that might have been stopped.
Here's a chance back to the point. Leopold there, crisply back onto Gomez. Then Leopold again. Shoots one that's deflected wide by Tkachuk. And then a drive by Leopold, but there's going to be a penalty on Tkachuk for hooking.
Yeah, he used his stick to try to create the turnover when Keith Tkachuk's feet weren't moving. Now, earlier I thought he was going to get a penalty, and instead on the second foul he was given one. See, that was interference. The man for Finland never touched the puck, so he got away with one. Then he goes to the front of the net, little shove, shoving the guy behind him, playing tough hockey, and then here's the hook. Try to create the turnover, so Tkachuk's in the box. It's getting big now. A 1-goal lead by Finland nearing the midpoint of the second period. This is a big power play.
Leopold and Chelios will be in back. Up front will be Cole and Ralston. Nummelen with a pass that deflected back down, and we get an offside call on the play.
And we have Salo got knocked down by his own man. Peltonen and Salo met up, and Salo went down very awkwardly. Now he gets himself up, and he goes right to the bench. He's hurting. Look at, he ran into his own man after the offside call. A teammate of his in Vancouver plays for the Swedes. Matthias Oland, a great defenseman, and he got banged up today. So not good for the Canucks.
NHL games begin next Tuesday in 6 cities. So there will have to be a quick recovery, especially for those who go all the way to the exciting finale on Sunday for the gold medal.
Saddle's in bad shape at the bench.
Oh, a turnaround shot whistled wide, and that came from Koivu. Nummelen there, a feed, and it's sent wide by Ville Peltonen, and it has to be chased down by Teppo Numminen. Another change for Team USA. Darian Hatcher out on defense, along with Chris Chelios. Meanwhile, it's handed back now for Nummelen. Gives across to Saku Koivu, moving back in. Takes the return pass from Solani. Feeds it on back. Nummelen, a shot! Deflected high off of Chelios. Scramble there. But outreaching Lehtinen for that one and clearing it back along was Conroy. 3/4 of a minute to go on the power play for Finland. #1 power play in the tournament. It has connected on its last chance.
Mike Salo still in bad shape at the bench, holding his right arm.
Here is Solani moving in and shooting one that is blocked off by DiPietro. Onto the back it comes, held there by Numminen, given back over now for a play to be made further by Kimmo Timonen. To the outside, it's Timonen again. Hands back to Teemu Solani. Solani chipped one in front that is drilled back out. Not a lot of mustard on it, but enough to get it back down the ice where Niittymaki has to play. 1 shot so far on this power play for Finland. Timonen weaving his way along, tapped it in and went to get it. Ville Peltonen covers his point position. Scott Gomez got in the way of that one after a collision between Timonen and Darian Hatcher. Penalty time is up. Team USA has killed this one off, trailing in the game by 1. Racing in is Brian Gionta. Got there and protected. Gionta dealt it back on, turning is Gomez. Gomez flips, guided away by Niittymaki. Bouncer is thrown behind by Hedican, but collared there by Nummelen. And flown on back. 1 shot on goal for Team USA this period, and that was the goal by Matthew Schneider. Rafalski's pass bounced off Tkachuk and came in on goal, where Niittymaki just clomps the glove down on it.
Look at Salo, the defenseman. I wouldn't doubt when he went down, his right shoulder may have just popped out for a second. Over on the left side, Peltonen looking backwards, and then all of a sudden there's Salo, and he went right down with his arm extended onto the ice. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if something just gave way in the shoulder joint. And oh, did you see that? He's taking something pill form to try to help out the situation. It's got to be within the rules over here, but he's taking something from their staff.
Are you allowed aspirin? Painkiller of some kind like that. Meanwhile, it is Ville Nieminen pivoting now. Rafalski trying to match him. And a Nieminen shot is blocked off by DiPietro. 2 shots for Team USA in the period, 6 for Finland. 18-10 Finland in the game. Knuble brings it ahead and hands on the wing. Dugway threw it in front and it ricocheted wide. There'll be a penalty coming up.
Both Knuble and Drury drove to the net without the puck. The Finns came right back with them and tried to hold somebody up, and they take a penalty as Ville Nieminen takes his first minor of the tournament. The back check by the Finns right to the net. Team USA, Drury had to stick right into his hip, so Nieminen was holding up Drury, and the USA gets themselves a power play, Pierre.
John, you know, this Salo injury could be more important in terms of Team USA being successful, because the U.S. are now playing a shoot-in and retrieval game. They've had 7 shoot-ins so far in this period, and that could wear the Finnish defense down, so watch for that to be a factor going forward here.
Yeah, they do have 7 dressed, so they do have a replacement part. Salo now is going to the locker room on his own.
Here's the feed back to Brian Ralston on this power play. Set up further for the play to be made in the corner. Work back to the outside and has to be regathered now. Brought back on by Drury, spun in front, and it ricocheted wide. The try by Conroy. Settled down by Tkachuk, plays it back on for Ralston again. Shifts one that ricocheted off the referee and is cleared back down. 40 killed by Finland. Antti-Jussi Niemi, 77, is the extra defenseman that they can use. But what a day for Vancouver. First Oland and then Salo.
And Salo went to the locker room. Niemi hasn't played much and did not take any of the line rushes in warm-up prior to the game. He wears number 77. You were telling me he wanted 99?
Well, he was first listed on the roster here as wearing number 99. And I think, well, I think he just learned the situation. In North America, 99 is not worn. And this isn't North America, but there's a lot of influence
I don't
here.
think it's worn too much over here either. So the Finns have the 1-goal lead. There is 7 minutes and 3 seconds remaining here in the second period, and we'll see if number 77 gets any ice time in place of Salo. I think Salo was the best defenseman, maybe the best player on the ice in the first period, along with Peltonen, and those are the two players that ran into each other.
A rocket of a shot by Salo, shorthanded, got Finland a 2-0 lead. Team USA equaled that, but then the power play goal by Jokinen broke the tie in this period, and that's where it still is. 42 to go on the power play. Brian Rafalski at the point, turns it back on now to Gomez. Has Doug Weight nearby, gives back to Rafalski. Then back to Gomez once again. Doug Weight to the outside. Gianta near the front of the net. Weight draws one of the Finns to him, but doesn't have a lane because of it. Then twisting, still holding. Gomez right back to Weight. 20 seconds left power play. Rafalski hurries one. It's popped high. Weight moves in for it. Poked away by Niittymaki and grabbed by Rafalski again. Then Gomez sent back around, and Weight run off by Ludman. With the help of Gianta, he gets it back. Doug Weight to the outside. 3 seconds left power play. Weight to the back. Rafalski a shot, and that hit a leg and went wide as Aki Berg got a piece of it. Then forehands it back off. No shots on goal in that power play for the United States, but they continue to work. Around it comes to Gomez. Challenge from Ludman. Plopped back on, and Ville Nieminen, fresh from the box, lifts it but not out. Leopold a shot turned aside by Niittymaki. Olli Jokinen gets it there. Has a man breaking Nieminen, trying to get it to him. Nieminen charging back in. Shrugs Leopold out of the way. Hit by Darian Hatcher. Puck turned over to the United States, but up for grabs again. Nieminen trying to finesse his way through. Difficult job, but he got it done. Then on to Koivu. Flipped one. Couldn't be grabbed by DiPietro. Scrambled at the front. Oh, and DiPietro poked it away. Penalty coming up.
Nieminen is going to go again. Came out of the penalty box, played an active shift. Took Leopold out of the play, then got nailed by Hatcher, and then with his exuberance went to the front of the net and ended up tackling somebody, or at least grabbing a hold of somebody in front. There's Hatcher with a hit, and Nieminen won't stop. He keeps going, but watch him go to the front of the net. And when he gets to the front, he wants to clear everybody out and open up some room for his teammates, and there he tackles his man down to the ice, I think was Hatcher. Now, at the other end of the ice, Doug Weight was on the puck the whole time. Finding somebody open is a hard thing to do. That shot deflect. Oh, baby, that might have been going in had it not hit the defenseman Berg in the leg and ricocheted wide.
Boy, every game is a battle of wills and also a character test. Can you lure the other team out of character? Finland has been so disciplined. Team USA has had some things going for it, but in this period hasn't been able to generate offense again. But perhaps by the power play they might be helped. Although moving in and letting a shot go was Hagman. A shorthanded chance, and that shot ricocheted loudly off the boards wide. So now Modano. 4:45 to go in the second period of this one as Brian Ralston tries to move in and can't. Turn back over to Saku Koivu. Has Lettinen and Timonen with him. Tries to force it to the front and defended away by Schneider. But illegally, there'll be a penalty coming up.
I think it's Matthew Schneider's going to go. It's another hooking call. Team USA's power play can't get it going here. This is Ralston on the puck. You see how he's forced by Timonen, who's a terrific player. And now Koivu just looks and says, you know what, I'm going to go to the net. And in doing so, draws a penalty. And actually, it's Kachuk on the far side, not Schneider. My apologies. So Peter Laviolette looking down the bench, trying to find combinations. We'll have 4-on-4 action here for a minute 11.
Jokinen and Peltonen will be out there working, and they have posted Lutman at one point and Nummelen at the other. 4 against 4. It is brought back in by Brett Hennigan. Hedican played it along now for Jason Blake. Good hit on him by Ludman. Jokinen in, but it's hurried away from him by Conroy. Across and a shot. It's fought off by Nidimaki from the stick of Brett Hedican.
And Jokinen was there to cover the rebound. Nice play by him.
Now Rafalski gaining the zone for Team USA. 38 left of the 4 against 4, and then a power play will be coming up for Finland, but icing is
in Canada in the preliminary round.
Timonen a shot out of the glove of DiPietro, shovels it right back ahead, and we're down to the last 15 seconds of the 4 against 4. Teppo Numminen sends it back, nicely nudged back across for the carry on by Lehtinen. Deals his way off and then deals it back in deep. Saku Koivu there, buried by Matthew Schneider, and that'll cost. And just as the finish penalty ends, it'll be 50 seconds of a 5 against 3 for Finland.
Paul Dvorsky has to make the call. There's no doubt about it. This will be another 5-on-3, the second in the period. Koivu goes first. Schneider uses the stick and shoves him down. It's got to be called. And especially with Koivu facing the boards. So Koivu has taken 2 penalties in this game, and he has drawn a couple of big ones. And now, with a 1-goal lead, late in the second period, the Finns have a chance to hammer one in here and really make it difficult for Team USA.
Important first face-off win for Craig Conroy. He and Leopold and Hatcher are the iron 3 for the United States. Timonen brings it ahead, has Olli Jokinen nearby, peels off Jokinen to the front of the net. Timonen holding it there, back to Teppo Numminen. Watched by Conroy, hands to Timonen. Worked in deep, Solani out in front, oh, and the shot popped high in the air, off the top of the net, and then bounces down and in.
And it's still a power play for the Finns. There was 20 seconds left to go on the Tkachuk penalty. This was some save by DiPietro, Mike. I mean, a fantastic save, but a puck went up, hit the crossbar, dropped in front, and Peltonen is there again. Jokinen in front. DiPietro has to find the puck. Great pass, good save, and look at there. Peltonen straddled the goal line, waited for the puck to come down. It has to be below the crossbar, is it? Yes. It was about 1.5 feet off the ice when he tapped it in. He has played a great game to this point here late this afternoon. Peltonen came out at the early scoring chances and has had now his 2nd goal of the game.
3rd time he has been on the Olympic team for Finland. This is game number 20 for him. And Ville Peltonen, coming into this contest today, had 7 Olympic goals, so make that 9. The important first one halfway through the first period, and the one that has given his team a 2-goal lead back. As John mentioned, still some time, 1:20 as of right now on the 5 against 4.
Well, the moral of this period, or the moral of the story of this period, is the specialty teams. Team USA's power play wasn't good enough, and they took a lot of bad penalties, and that has really put them into a fix.
This is Blake tapping it back in and coming to the bench, another change. Well, the variances in character have gone against Team USA. Late in the period, it looked as Finland was out of sorts. They even took a penalty, Saku Koivu, for high sticking at the end of the period. Now moving ahead for Team USA, it's fed across by Eric Cole, and that blocked and started back the other way. Turning on is Olli Jokinen. He's got Peltonen looking for the hat trick, and it's blocked away by Chelios in a strong defensive play. Now Hatcher across to Chelios again. And he'll chew up some more time for Team USA as we're down to the last half minute of this penalty kill. Long pass brought on by Nummelen. Nummelen fed it across, and shanking the shot was Saku Koivu, and it spiked on back Conroy. He picks up Leopold. Conroy, a shot deflected up into the mesh.
Oh, this is wild. Just wild. As we had the 2 teams trading 2-on-1s. We had 4 of them in a very short period of time, but we didn't get any really good goal scoring chances as the teams didn't finish. We had 4 of them in 30 seconds. And I think that's what Team USA wants now, but they've got to find a way to finish. They're down by 2. If they get one on their 2-on-1s, they're back in the game. And the Finns don't want to open it up like that. That's not their game.
Here's Blake. Then Numminen. Then it's brought on by Kimmo Timonen. Handed to center ice, Saku Koivu. Up the wing now for Teemu Selanne, but it's offside with 1:16 to go in the second period. Yeah, Finland's game has been scoring occasionally and holding the other team to practically nothing. Team USA has gotten a couple coming into today. Finland had played 5 games and yielded only 2, and those were both power play goals.
And it seems to me they're still going with just the 5 defensemen. The Finns, after losing Salo to what appeared to be a shoulder problem earlier in this period.
Nieminen again. Teams are at full strength. Laid back for Ruutu, knifed ahead now and brought on by Scott Gomez. Gomez looking for Rafalski, got it to him. A shot is blocked off by Ruutu.
Good play by Ruutu. Played it really well. The Finns want this badly, blocking shots, trying to play smart defensively. Took penalties early, Mike, but then Team USA's penalties in the second period has really hurt.
So grit school in Calgary has paid off for them, not only in this tournament, but in recent international tournaments. Fed to the outside now, and it's controlled by Kapanen. Around behind for a little backhander that wafted free off Laaksonen, and then is laid back out to center by Brian Giunta. 25 to go in the period. Ruutu with a pass ahead. Brought back on now by Jokinen. Jussi Jokinen's shot is handled by DiPietro. 9 shots to 4 in this period. An attempt by Mike Modano doesn't get there. In the way was Aki Berg. Team USA chases this one down in the person of Schneider. Matthew Schneider had the lone Team USA goal in that period. It comes at 1:29 and gave Team USA hope because they had a tie. Then Finland has wrested control of the game back through the first 2 periods now. 4-2.
2 lovely for them 5-on-3 opportunities, 2 long ones. What a difference that has made.
So Team Finland slaps backs as they walk off. Seem to be inspired by what's happened through the first 2. Studio and interviews coming up after this. Up for Team USA back on defense. Chris Drury and Mike Knuble are part of Team USA, and Eric Cole, who settles this one down. Here's Cole with a wrist shot that is blocked off by the defense of Teppo Numminen. Played back in by Solani. To the bench he comes as both teams are changing lines. Darian Hatcher lobs it ahead, brought on by Giunta, and a save made by Niittymaki.
A couple of nice passes up ice for Team USA, and Brian Giunta, a terrific skater. He was able to find a way to get the shot. Here's Hatcher, looking, waiting, and boom, a good pass through the screen. And Niittymaki again, and I keep saying it, boy, he makes calm saves in net. No panic at goal for the Finns.
Brought back by Gomez, sent across for Chelios, but it was outside and whacked back in, delayed offside, but that wipe now as Team USA has cleared the zone. Chelios and Schneider, the defense. Ralston out with Brian Giunta and Scott Gomez. So the line is back together again from the preliminary game against Russia last night. For 2 periods they tried Keith Tkachuk on that line, but now they go with Ralston. Nudged ahead now for Giunta. Came through. Ralston, a blast, and it's paddled away by Niittymaki. Then Scott Gomez has Schneider. Curls with it and got it back to him. Settled down by Schneider. Poked back further, but lifted along and out to center. Spike back off Billy Nieminen, and a shift change for Team USA.
So first couple of shots to Team USA, so that at least at the beginning of this 3rd period, with everything on the line, down by 2 goals, it's a good start for them.
Hedican and Rafalski the defense now. Keith Tkachuk watches as this play comes ahead from Conroy, then on to Doug Waite. Waite tried to trickle one through. Conroy centers when it went off Tkachuk. Hedican a shot, and that one blocked, and everyone looking for it. It was underneath Ole Jokinen. Tucked back for Rafalski, a shot knocked down at the front.
New defenseman getting some ice time. That was him. Niemi playing here in the 3rd. They do not have Salo back.
Turned back over near Doug Waite. Knocked the stick out of the hands of Aki Berg. Meanwhile, it is played along and all the way back by Brett Hedican, and it goes for an icing. A scrappy start, a rest for Team USA, and then coming out strong here in the 3rd. But the question is, how much fuel is in the tank? You mentioned 1 goal, and it's a game again. 1 goal the other way, and that could take care and put them on fumes.
You know, it's interesting. I was talking to Doug Waite prior to this tournament. He talked about playing for Herb Brooks in the past, the late Herb Brooks, and he said Herb had a saying, the legs are the wolf. The legs are the wolf. In other words, hunt down loose pucks, hunt down the opposition players and hit them, but the legs have to do it. Right now, they need to find their legs and keep going like they have over the first little bit here of this third period. Somebody touches the puck here, it's going to be a whistle, and finally Cole did. So it's I think a puck touch with a high stick, so it'll come all the way back. The Finnish player smart enough not to touch the puck with Cole right there.
Well, you look at all the credentials that Team Finland had coming into this. Not just the numbers, but the way that they had dominated teams and shut down any big offensive lines the other teams had. I mean, they took care of Canada. They took care of the Czech Republic. Didn't allow them a goal.
Well, Team USA battled back here and got 2 goals to tie the game up. And then you wondered, were they going to be able to go ahead? But instead, the penalties. The penalties hurt Team USA. No question about that, Mike.
Matt Schneider's pass is flagged down by Loxanen, but taken away by Chris Drury. Handed across, brought on by Eric Cole. Shoots one that's deflected wide as Loxanen caught up to him. And then Antti Loxanen of the Colorado Avalanche wrestled off by Cole. Jostling continues. Mike Knuble up the boards. Punched on along and away from the reach of John Michael Lyles, and so it's Schneider on back again. Schneider and Lyles the defense. Drury now coming to the bench as they make a change. Once more trying to keep those legs fresh. Brought ahead by Lyles. Pass ricocheted off Scott Gomez. Jammed away from Ralston and brought on by Jere Lehtinen. Dallas Star brings it ahead and gives on to Solani. Solani cruising around behind, tried the wraparound, but lost the puck first. Solani again, and that went off Gomez. Lehtinen had it taken away by Gomez. Starts out, he's got Ralston on the left, Gianta on the right. Gives back over to Ralston. Fed one, Gianta in front, Gomez deflected around, they fight away, and they can't get it home. Oh my, solid play by Nidibaki.
A couple of things happened here. The 3-on-2 was a wide open 3-on-2 as everybody was trapped for Finland, and then Solani on the back check. What a skater he is at 35 years of age. Remarkable back check. Puck got to the front of the net, and Niittymaki had to hang on because it was being jammed away, jammed at, and a puck wouldn't go over the line. Lehtinen, Solani, and Koivu were on the ice, and you see Solani with that silky smooth play, but he lost control of the puck.
Brought back ahead by Nicholas Hagman, and offside is called.
Team USA, Mike, they're working to find something here in this third period. And if you find odd man rushes at this level, you've got to be able to score. You got to be able to finish. That's why Russia was able to beat Team USA last night. They capitalized on their odd man rushes. Team USA's earning them here in the third period. Can't finish. Not yet, anyway.
It was helter-skelter late in the second. There were 4 2-on-1 breaks, all of those occurring odd man rushes in 30 seconds of playing time, 2 aside. But the finish wasn't coming, either from the Finnish or from the Americans. Brought ahead by Olli Jokinen, who's had the last 2 goals. He was credited with the one that was actually directed in inadvertently by goalkeeper Rick DiPietro. It was just a crazily bouncing puck that went off the top of the net and then struck him. Drive by Blake is blocked aside by Nidimaki. Rafalski with a shot, and that one blocked away by Jussi Jokinen. Chopped on by Peltonen, kept by Rafalski. A shot deflected wide by Bill Guerin.
Peter Laviolette obviously has told his team, shoot the puck every time you get a chance. Enough with being too fancy. Get the shot on net. That shot by Guerin, or Blake, make that. Blake was a hard shot. Niittymaki was there again.
Racing on is Drury. Hands it across for the backhander by Knuble that spiked away. Drury tried to punch it away, but no sale there from Kimmo Timonen. He flops one ahead that careened all the way back, and DiPietro watches as Matthew Schneider twists it around behind to Chris Chelios.
Accident on the ice. You talk about grit learned by the Finns. He went to Denver University. Learned a little bit there.
Chelios got in the way of that one. Couple of shoulders thrown. And Schneider will retreat to play for the United States. 14.5 to go in regulation time. In the quarterfinals, they get a winner. It is a 2-goal advantage for Finland. If they win this, they move on to play the winner of Canada-Russia. Chelios, big blast. Sweden will play the winner of Czech Republic and Slovakia in the semifinals. They have already prevailed over Switzerland 6-2. Saku Koivu has to wait and finesse can't. Hatcher starts it ahead for Chelios, but we have a player injured.
I don't know who that is. Is that Solani? I think I see an 8. Darian Hatcher had the puck and moved the puck up ice, and then I saw Solani down, sliding into the boards, and he had both hands over his helmet and visor. Hatcher's on the puck. Is it a follow-through play? Yes, it is. He moved the puck up ice, and his follow-through caught Solani, and there's no question that's an accidental play. I mean, he was just trying to move the puck up. See the U.S. player way in the background there? He was trying to move it quick. Solani reached in with his stick, had his face exposed, and the blade of the stick must have caught Solani underneath the visor, below the visor. He's up and seems to be okay. And the linesman may have called something here.
Team USA really annoyed at this call. It's going to be a penalty call, and Chris Chelios was yelling in the direction of Paul Dvorsky as there's been a high sticking call, and the United States is protesting that it was on the follow-through by Hatcher.
It's the linesman that called it, Mike. No way Dvorsky called this. The linesman makes the call. Chelios is trying to talk to him right now. They want to know, and I don't know. There's no question about it that Chelios is talking to the linesman. The linesman made the call, and that means it's got to be a major.
Boy, oh boy, it's a follow-through only, and that's the curious thing about it. It is 4 minutes of power play time for Finland with 14:01 to go in the third, and Darian Hatcher is in the box.
I think it's a Slovakian linesman that called it. Masik made the call. It wasn't Miller and it wasn't Dvorsky. It's a Slovakian linesman that made the call, Pierre.
Bang on, John. That's exactly right. Milan Masik made the call from Slovakia. Stephen Miller is a lineman that's about to drop the puck right now, but that was just a follow-through. That should not have been a penalty.
Angled on back now by Blake. Oh, a long kill for Team USA. They're already down by 2. Swatted on by Leopold, and Finland chases back. Olli Jokinen gave it back across, handed back over for the carry on by Ludman. A shot fought off by DiPietro. Rebound, and he got that one too, and then it popped free.
Tony Ludman plays for the Buffalo Sabres and is having a great season. Another one of those defensemen for Finland having a great season. Now look at him just move in. He goes in himself, finds the rebound and gets it. And DiPietro, once he let the rebound get away from him, had to really battle to make a second save. It used to be Lidman. He's now called Ludman, which is the proper way of saying his name.
It's interesting what we learn after a guy's been in the league half a decade, isn't it?
The Europeans come in. I remember when there was Mironov and Mironov. They were brothers. Each one of them wanted it said differently. And they're brothers.
Weren't the Caberlets the same way? Caberlaw and Caberlet.
Yeah.
And originally, it was Teemu Selänne when he arrived in Winnipeg. And after a while, everyone was anglicizing it to Selänne, and so he just said, okay. Good hit by Eric Cole in this shorthanded situation. First minute and 5 seconds have been killed off, and Cole, a whirling dervish, now comes to the bench for a change. Handed on to Selänne. Sent one in front that is deflected away by Leopold before he could get there. He was trying to connect with Koivu. Koivu has it now. Then Numminen back across for a pass in front that's just away from Selänne by Koivu. Onto the back, Timonen again. Gives back to Teppo Numminen. Back to Timonen once more. Angles for Koivu. Looks to Lehtinen. Opposite side, he's got Selänne, and it's there for the drive that's saved by DiPietro, and he's able to cover. 2:20 to go in the kill.
Good battle by Team USA, trying to kill the double minor. Selänne had a little problem. He had a cut near one of his front teeth and on the lip there. He's the player that drew the double minor. So DiPietro had to come up big. There's still 2:20 to go. DiPietro's really square to the shooter, makes a nice save, able to hang on. Not long before these Olympics began, DiPietro watched the movie Miracle just to get himself pumped up, and he's earned the spot to be the #1 goaltender. By the way, Michael Ruzioni is here in attendance.
Winning goal scored 26 years ago today in the delightful little town of Lake Placid, New York. Forehand pass in front, went off of DiPietro. Numminen brushed one, it's knifed down. Chris Drury trying to get away. Moving in, down to the ice he goes, and what'll the call be? Delayed call right now. Knuble around behind. 5 criteria for a penalty shot. Do we have it or not?
I haven't seen a signal. Yes, I have. Penalty to Teppo Numminen. Nice try, Mike.
I just like penalty shots.
I know you do.
We've only had 2 in the Olympics, and we didn't get a
What are the 5 criteria?
Possession of the puck, clear of the red line. No one between the attacker and the goalkeeper. Foul from behind. Denied reasonable scoring opportunity.
And what do you think of that replay? It could have been a penalty shot.
5 for 5 in my mind, but
Numminen was there tight with him, almost parallel, but 4.5.
Yeah.
4.5 out of 5.
Well, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Paul Dvorsky then made the right call. You convinced me.
Yeah.
Well,
so
the
now,
important thing is now it's 4 against 4.
1:57 to go on the Hatcher double minor. And here we go.
That part of the ship seems to have been righted, but the other side is the scoreboard. Still a problem there by 2 goals. Lyles can't get that one. Brought back ahead for a pass to Hagman, and he couldn't control from his skate to his stick. Now Hagman tried to fight to the front. That didn't work. So they'll just play it all the way down, and Niittymaki will handle there.
Eric Cole with some good shifts here. Played some junior hockey in Des Moines, Iowa for 1 season. He's had some good energetic shifts here in the last 2 or 3 minutes.
He has been a force, a member of Peter Laviolette's Carolina Hurricanes.
You know, when the season fires up again, the Hurricanes play the Boston Bruins. One of the assistant coaches here is Mike Sullivan, head coach of the Boston Bruins.
So they'll go from sharing secrets to keeping them.
There you go.
Brought ahead now by Jokinen. Olli Jokinen going for the hat trick, floated that wide, and it would have been a natural had he gotten it. Now Brian Rafalski. Chipped across by Doug Waite. Still 4-on-4 for another 50 seconds. DiPietro came out, draws a man to him, spirits a pass ahead that is collared by Waite. Waite bringing it on for the United States, hands it on back, controlled by Rafalski. Flipped one in front that went off a leg. Lofted on, settled down by Rafalski, but brought back on by Team Finland. Jokinen dropped it back off. Peltonen brings it ahead, left the puck behind, and so offside is called.
32 seconds to go on the Finnish penalty and 28 seconds to go on Team USA's penalty. There's 10 minutes and 29 seconds left in this 3rd period.
Players on Team USA and Team Finland undoubtedly oblivious to the fact that today is the first day for the resumption of NHL practices. Don't imagine there'll be hard ones most places today.
No.
But they get their gangs back together again to resume the season as early as next Tuesday.
I think players want to get back on the ice, but they don't want to jump into and have a hard practice the first day. You worry about injury.
Around to the outside, it's Conroy with it. Conroy shanked one off the leg of Niemi. Swept on back, Schneider crisply over to Chelios. Drive into the catching glove of Niittymaki.
So number 70, I think, in Switzerland went really hard into the boards. And Gian.
Doesn't even miss his regular shifts, comes right back. These guys play with a whole lot of pride and a lot of jam.
You know, Pierre, their head coach.
Oh, a chance there for Conroy, and that blocked aside. Eventually played by Jason Blake in a shot. That one fought off. Conroy behind. We'll get back to that subject in a moment. Rafalski angles one. Oh, and a save by Niittymaki on the deflection of Jason Blake. And all of that shorthanded.
Wow.
Jokinen hands it across. Petteri Numminen brings it ahead, shakes it over. Lehtinen gets back in. Jere Lehtinen of the Dallas Stars laid it around. Jokinen plays it back. Florida Panther got it onto Lehtinen, but he's sealed up. Darian Hatcher got there, but then it's fed back to Numminen. Back on now for UC Jokinen. Numminen, a shot, save! Rebound the way back out with 5 seconds left. Something to him coming out of this, too. He's turned his palms up. He said, what? But he said, I was just clearing it along, but, well, anyway.
Well, Tkachuk tripped up Hagman. He reached out, pulled his feet out.